I heard the champagne flute shatter on the marble before I heard my sister say, "Amanda doesn't need it anymore." I was standing in the doorway of my parents' summer rental in Cape Cod, still in my airport clothes, suitcase wheels locked mid-roll. Inside, my entire family was toasting. My sister Claire stood at the head of the table wearing white linen like she just closed on a yacht. My mother held a champagne bottle. My father had his phone out, filming. And on the screen behind them, projected like a slideshow at a wedding, were photos of my beach house. My Malibu beach house. The one I'd saved for since I was 23. The one I'd closed on 6 weeks ago and hadn't even furnished yet. Claire turned to me with this smile. Soft. Pitying. "We heard about the foreclosure," she said. "I'm so sorry, Mandy. But don't worry. I'm going to take care of it." I didn't move. I didn't correct her. I just stood there while my family nodded sympathetically and my mother whispered something about poor investments and finally growing up. Because here's the thing. There was no foreclosure. There was no financial collapse. There was just me, tired from a red-eye flight from Singapore, staring at my family celebrating a lie I hadn't even heard yet. If you've ever had someone rewrite your life while you were standing right there, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. Because what happened next taught me that silence isn't peace. It's just the moment before everything breaks. 48 hours earlier, I was in Singapore closing a consulting contract worth more than my parents made in 3 years combined. I'm a financial systems analyst for tech acquisitions. I'm good at my job. Very good. Good enough that at 31, I'd bought a 4-bedroom beach house in Malibu with cash reserves left over. I hadn't told my family the price. I hadn't told them I'd paid in full. I just sent a photo and said, "Finally got my beach house." My mother's response was 3 words, "How much debt?" Claire's response was a thumbs-up emoji. I should have known then. But I was in Singapore, and my phone was on international mode, and I missed 17 calls from a Los Angeles number before I finally picked up on the 18th. "Miss Amanda Reeves?" The voice was professional, warm. "This is Marcus Chin, VP of Client Relations at Pacific Trust Mortgage. I wanted to personally congratulate you on your recent purchase and schedule a walkthrough of our concierge services for high-value clients." I was standing in a hotel lobby in Orchard Road, watching rain streak the windows. "I'm sorry," I said. "I paid cash. I don't have a mortgage." There was a pause. The kind that costs money. "Miss Reeves, our records show a mortgage application submitted under your name and social security number 4 weeks ago. The loan officer flagged it for our executive review due to the property value and your excellent credit profile. We approved a $1.2 million mortgage at a preferential rate. The funds have already been transferred to escrow." My suitcase fell over. I didn't pick it up. "Someone," I said slowly, "used my information to take out a mortgage on a property I already own?" "I'm looking at the application now," Marcus said. His voice had changed. "The contact email is not the one we have on file for you. And the phone number routes to a Los Angeles area code. Miss Reeves, I think we need to conference our fraud department immediately." I didn't go back to my hotel room. I booked a flight home that left in 4 hours. When I landed at LAX, I had 43 text messages. 39 were from Claire. The first one said, "Family emergency. Come to Mom and Dad's Cape Cod rental tonight. Don't make other plans." The last one said, "If you can't be here to support me during the hardest time of my life, I'll understand. But Mom's really disappointed." I didn't answer. I drove straight from the airport to Cape Cod, 5 hours up the coast, running on coffee and the kind of anger that makes your hands steady. That's when I walked into the champagne toast. The projection screen. The photos of my house with Claire standing on the deck I hadn't stood on yet myself. The bank called me, my mother was saying, refilling glasses. They said the property was in pre-foreclosure and they were looking for a family buyer to avoid legal complications. Claire stepped up. She's always been the responsible one. I set my suitcase down. Everyone turned. There is no foreclosure, I said. My father lowered his phone. Amanda, we know this is hard. There is no foreclosure, I repeated. I paid cash. I own that house outright. And someone applied for a mortgage using my social security number. Claire's face did something. Just a flicker. Then she laughed. Mandy, come on. You're jet-lagged. You're confused. The bank called me directly. They said the previous owner, that's you, I guess, defaulted, Anne. What bank? I asked. She blinked. What? What bank called you? She looked at my mother. Pacific Trust. And who did you speak with? A loan officer. I don't remember his name. Marcus Chen? Maybe. I don't. Because Marcus Chen called me in Singapore, I said. He called to congratulate me on my mortgage approval. The mortgage someone took out in my name. For $1.2 million. The room went silent. My mother set down the champagne bottle. Amanda, what are you accusing your sister of? I looked at Claire. Really looked at her. She was wearing a Cartier bracelet I'd never seen before. Her nails were freshly done. She had that specific glow people get when they think they've won. I'm not accusing anyone, I said. I'm just stating facts. And the facts are, I'm meeting with Marcus Chan and a fraud investigator tomorrow morning. I'm sure it'll all get cleared up. I picked up my suitcase and walked out. Behind me, I heard my mother say, she's always been paranoid. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in a Hampton Inn with my laptop and every financial document I'd saved for the past decade, building a timeline. Here's what I found. 3 weeks after I closed on the Malibu house, someone requested a duplicate title from the county recorder's office. The request came from an email address that was one letter off from mine, Amanda.Reeves instead of Amanda.Reeves. 2 weeks after that, someone submitted a mortgage application to Pacific Trust using my social security number, my credit history, and a fake email. The mortgage was approved. The funds, $1.2 million, were deposited into an escrow account. And then, 5 days ago, someone transferred those funds out of escrow into a personal checking account. I didn't have access to that last part yet. But I knew who did. At 6 in the morning, I called Marcus Chen. Miss Reeves, he said. I've been up all night with our legal team. So have I said. I need to know where the mortgage funds were transferred. I can't disclose that without a subpoena or your written authorization as the account holder, he stopped. Wait. You're the victim here, not the account holder. Let me conference fraud. 20 minutes later, I had a name. Claire Reeves. The account was opened 2 months ago. The same week I'd sent that photo of the beach house to the family text chain. I didn't go back to Cape Cod. I drove straight to Malibu. The house was exactly as I'd left it. Empty rooms. Ocean view. The kind of light that makes you believe in second chances. Except now there were furniture deliveries stacked on the porch. A couch. A dining table. Boxes labeled Claire's bedroom and guest linens. I called the delivery company. We're scheduled for a 10 a.m. installation, the dispatcher said. Miss Claire Reeves will be on site to accept delivery. Cancel it, I said. Ma'am, we need authorization from the account holder. I'm the property owner. Amanda Reeves. Pull up the title. There was typing. Then silence. I'm so sorry, Miss Reeves. I'm canceling this immediately. Do you want us to return the items to the sender? No, I said. Leave them on the curb. At 9:47 a.m., Claire's white Range Rover pulled into the driveway. She didn't see me at first. She was on the phone, laughing, saying something about finally having a place to host Thanksgiving. Then she looked up. I was sitting on the porch steps, drinking coffee from a thermos. Behind me, the front door was open. My locksmith was inside, changing every lock. Claire got out of the car slowly. What are you doing here? She asked. I live here, I said. Amanda, we talked about this. The house is in foreclosure. I bought it from the bank. Show me the paperwork. What? Show me, I said, the paperwork from your purchase. The deed. The title. The settlement statement. She opened her mouth. Closed it. You can't, I said, because you didn't buy anything. You committed mortgage fraud. You stole $1.2 million using my identity. And you were going to move into my house and pretend you'd rescued it. Her face went white. Then red. You can't prove that. I held up my phone. On the screen was a PDF from Pacific Trust's fraud department. Every document. Every email. Every transfer. Claire, I said quietly, I have 17 years of financial records. I have bank statements, credit reports, tax returns. I know how money moves. It's literally my job. Did you really think I wouldn't notice $1.2 million? She didn't answer. She just stared at the furniture on the curb, at the locksmith's van, at me. I'm giving you one chance, I said. You return every dollar within 72 hours, you sign a confession for the bank's fraud department, and you tell Mom and Dad the truth. Or I file a police report and let the district attorney handle it. You wouldn't, she whispered. Try me. If you're wondering whether I actually would have sent my own sister to prison, leave a comment. Because I didn't know the answer myself until she said what she said next. Mom and Dad will never forgive you, Claire said. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I'll fix this. Just the threat. The certainty that even if she was caught, I'd be the villain. Maybe, I said. But they'll know the truth. She laughed. It was bitter. Mean. You think they'll believe you? You've always been the weird one, Amanda. The one who moved across the country. The one who doesn't come home for holidays. I'm the one who's here. I'm the one who calls Mom every Sunday. You're just the workaholic with the fancy job nobody understands. I'm also the one with the bank records, I said. She stared at me for a long moment. Then she got back in her car. 72 hours, I called after her. She didn't answer. She just drove away, tires spitting gravel. I sat on those steps until the locksmith finished. Then I called Marcus Chan and told him to expect a police report. Miss Reeves, he said carefully, are you sure? This is a family member. I'm sure, I said. Because here's what I'd realized sitting in that hotel room at 3 in the morning, Claire didn't just steal money. She stole the story of my success and turned it into a story about my failure. She was going to live in my house and let everyone believe I'd lost it. That I'd been irresponsible. That she'd saved me. And I was tired of being the villain in someone else's narrative. Claire didn't call. She didn't text. For 3 days, my phone was silent. My mother called once. I didn't answer. My father sent an email with the subject line, "Disappointed." I deleted it without reading. On hour 71, I got a notification from my bank. An incoming wire transfer. $1.2 million. Sender, Claire Reeves. I stared at my phone for a full minute. Then I called Marcus Chen. "The funds have been returned," I said. "I see that," he said. "We also received a signed confession this morning via courier. Miss Reeves admitted to fraudulent use of your personal information and requested the mortgage account be closed. Our legal team is reviewing whether to pursue criminal charges independently. And if I don't file a police report? Then it's a civil matter. We'll close the case internally and flag her SSN to prevent future fraud. But Miss Reeves, if you don't report this, she'll do it again. Maybe not to you. But to someone." I thought about that. About the next person Claire would charm. The next story she'd rewrite. "I'll think about it," I said. I didn't file the report. Not that day. But I did something else. My parents were hosting their annual Labor Day party at the Cape Cod rental. 50 people. Catered seafood. A string quartet. I wasn't invited. I showed up anyway. My mother saw me first. She was holding a martini and talking to a woman in a sun hat, and when she spotted me coming up the walkway, her face did that thing. The hostess smile that doesn't reach the eyes. "Amanda," she said. "What a surprise." "Hi, Mom. We didn't think you'd make it. Claire said you were busy with work." "Claire said a lot of things," I replied. I walked past her, into the party, and found my sister on the deck. She was surrounded by aunts and cousins, showing off photos on her phone. Photos of a beach house. My beach house. "And this is the living room," she was saying. I had to completely redesign the space. The previous owner had no taste. I stepped into the circle. "Actually," I said, "the previous owner is standing right here." Claire's smile froze. "Amanda. Tell them," I said quietly. "Tell them how you got the house." "I bought it," she said. Her voice was shaking. "At auction." "You know that." "There was no auction," I said. "There was a mortgage fraud scheme. You used my social security number to take out a $1.2 million loan, and when the bank caught you, you had to return every penny." The deck went silent. My mother's martini glass hit the railing. "Amanda, that's enough." "Is it true?" my Aunt Susan asked. Claire's face was red. "She's lying. She's always been jealous." "I have the bank records," I said. I pulled out my phone. "I have the fraud report. I have the signed confession. Would you like to see them?" Nobody moved. "Claire tried to steal my house," I said. "And instead of apologizing, she told you I was foreclosed. She let you believe I was failing. Because it was easier than admitting what she'd done." My mother was shaking her head. "This is family business. You don't air family business in public." "You're right," I said. "I should have kept it private. But you threw a party celebrating her theft. You toasted her with champagne. So here we are." I looked at Claire. She was crying now. Real tears. The kind that work on our mother. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "For stealing?" I asked. "Or for getting caught?" She didn't answer. I turned to the rest of the party. "I'm not pressing charges." Claire returned the money. "But I need you all to know the truth. Because I'm done being the bad daughter in a story someone else wrote. Then I left. Behind me, I heard my mother say, "She's always been so dramatic." But I also heard my Aunt Susan say, "Jesus Christ, Claire." And that was enough. 3 weeks later, my mother called. "Your sister is seeing a therapist," she said. No hello. No apology. Good, I said. She's very upset. She says you humiliated her. She humiliated herself. There was a long silence. "I don't understand why you had to make it so public," my mother said finally. "We could have handled it privately." "We tried private," I said. "Private was you throwing her a party in my house." "That's not fair. Isn't it?" Another silence. "She's your sister," my mother said. "I know," I said. "That's why I didn't send her to prison." My mother hung up. I haven't spoken to her since. My father sent an email 2 months later. Just one line, "Your mother and I are proud of your success, even if we don't always show it." It wasn't an apology. But it was something. I'm sitting on the deck of my Malibu house right now, watching the sun set over the Pacific. The furniture I ordered finally arrived. The walls are painted. There's art I chose myself hanging in the hallway. It's mine. Fully, legally, undeniably mine. And here's what I learned. Some people will rewrite your story to make themselves the hero. They'll take your success and call it their rescue mission. They'll steal your house and call it salvation. You can't stop them from trying. But you can refuse to live in their version. I spent years trying to make my family see me. The real me. The successful, capable, independent me. And they never did. Because the story they'd written, the one where I was reckless and Claire was responsible, was easier to believe. So I stopped trying to change their story. I just started living mine. Out loud. With receipts. And when Claire tried to move into my house, into my success, into my life, I didn't ask permission to defend it. I didn't apologize for the noise. I just said, "This is mine. And you don't get to take it." The truth is, I don't know if my family will ever really understand what Claire did. My mother still calls her every Sunday. My father still sends her money when she asks. But I know. And I know that I'm the kind of person who pays cash for a beach house at 31. Who builds systems for billion-dollar companies. Who doesn't need anyone's approval to succeed. Claire can have their story. I'll take the house. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever had to choose between keeping the peace and telling the truth, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me what you would have done. Because sometimes the hardest thing isn't the revenge. It's deciding you're worth defending in the first place. 6 months later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. "Amanda?" "It's Claire." I was in my home office, overlooking the ocean. I put down my coffee. "What do you want?" She took a breath. I wanted to say, "I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not because Mom told me to. Because I am." I didn't say anything. "I was jealous," she said. "You were always the smart one. The successful one. And I was just Claire. The one who stayed home. The one who couldn't figure out her life. When you bought that house, it was like proof. Proof that you didn't need any of us. That you'd won." "It wasn't a competition," I said quietly. "I know. But it felt like one. And I wanted something you had. Just once." I stared out at the water. Watched a pelican dive. "You could have asked to visit," I said. I would have said yes. "I know," she whispered. "I know that now." We sat in silence for a moment. "I'm not asking you to forgive me," Claire said. "I just wanted you to know that I see it now. What I did. What I almost destroyed. And I'm sorry." "Okay," I said. Okay? I hear you, I said. I don't know what comes next. But I hear you. She made a sound like a laugh and a sob mixed together. That's more than I deserve, she said. Probably, I agreed. She laughed for real then. So did I. We hung up a few minutes later. I don't know if we'll ever be close. I don't know if I'll ever fully trust her again. But I know this, I defended my truth. I stood my ground. I didn't let someone else's shame become my silence. And that house, the one I'm sitting in right now, isn't just 4 bedrooms and an ocean view. It's proof that I can build something beautiful and keep it. Even when someone I love tries to take it away. Especially then, they say blood is thicker than water. But I learned that summer that the full quote is, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. The bonds we choose are stronger than the ones we're born into. And sometimes, protecting yourself isn't betrayal. It's the bravest thing you can do. Thanks for watching. If this story hit home, let me know in the comments where you're watching from, and what you would have done in my shoes. Subscribe if you want more stories about finding your voice when everyone's trying to silence it. And remember, your success doesn't need anyone's permission. Not even family's.